Walls house. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls. I'm back with you. Episode 128 coming your way. Before we get into all that, I just want to start off saying thank you to everybody. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching some of the live shows over the weekend. So thank you. Again, thank you to producer Kevy for helping us down this video path that we've been on. So as always, if you guys could, you know the deal, a little housekeeping. If you guys could please comment, share, rate, review, subscribe. Let everybody know about Ole Walls house. I really appreciate that. For the show, I'm going to roll the Sunday Night Live recap right into this one. Then we got some Cleveland Guardians. We got OWH albums. We got some passing thoughts. So some good stuff coming your way. And if you're looking for Liquid IV 20% off, get it while I still got that promo code. I don't know exactly when it's going to run out, but I know I got an email saying that the promotion's coming to an end here sooner or later. So remember, promo code is OWH at liquidiv.com or at the link in the show notes below. And you guys know all the stuff about that, all the great flavors, the nice little pouches that you can toss in your water, double the hydration of water alone, 3 times the electrolytes of your leading sports drink, all the flavors. I like Concord Grape. Equitable access to water is something that Liquid IV believes in. They have donated over 40 million servings worldwide. So without any further ado, let's get to it. We are going live right now, Mr. Deepdish. Just going to wait to make sure everything goes through here. And we are up, I believe. Just want to make sure. Yep, we're good to go. Mr. Deepdish, what did we just fucking witness?
I'm not sure. I mean, we witnessed a collapse and maybe one of the greatest saves you'll see to win a major championship from Bryson on the backside of that.
I mean, the bunker shot in itself on the 18th hole is out of this world. That's a 55-yard bunker shot, they said. I know you've probably had a 55-yard bunker shot in your life. Those things are so fucking hard.
As someone who had 3 50-ish yard bunker shots yesterday, I can confirm that I did not get any of them up and down. And I think it was a total, if we count the bunker shot, of 10 shots from there.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. That's one of the all-time collapses from Rory McIlroy. He had it to 8 under with 4 holes to play. He makes 3 bogeys on his last 4 holes. He misses 2 putts. The one was, I think, 2 feet 6 inches on 16, I believe. And then the last one, I think, was like 3.5 feet. Like, that is all-time choke job, right? Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, this was like, when we were, like, on the 14th tee, it looked like this was his fucking major to win. And he just completely gagged it away. Like, is there another explanation?
You know, I can let one slide. Everyone's human and makes an error here and there. But the putt on the 18th, I think I texted someone. I'm just like, you got to just hit that one hard and be okay with the outcome. If it lips out hard, sure, but it just kind of, I don't want to say wave at it, but just hit it very conservatively and watch it go across the face of the cup. Like, you just can't give that putt the chance to break. And look, Rory McIlroy is still a hell of a lot better golfer than I am, so I'm not judging him for it. But just
obviously we can't like sit here and like shit talk him for being a bad golfer, but like it's kind of the territory they run in. Hang on, 1 second. Let me go mute my TV over here. I forgot to mute that. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, like we obviously can't shit talk Rory McIlroy. Like he shot 69 in the final round of the U.S. Open, but like there were some big whiffs. Like the par 3 where he made the other bogey on 17, like he obviously hit too much club into that hole and like just airmailed the green.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. I just don't think there's any way other to like explain this other than it was just a total choke job coming down the stretch.
Well, that was 16. He made the other bogey, right? 17 was the par 3, and he made a great sand save to keep himself around.
Sorry. 16 was where he made the other bogey. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, if you were rooting for Rory, which I was, it was an emotional roller coaster there down the stretch where he misses the short one, and you're like, oh boy. And then he goes in, it's probably a bunker shot that he gets up and down a lot, but in that situation, having missed a short putt, U.S. Open on the line, like he goes and makes a great up and down. And you're like, okay, he's got this. And then he doesn't.
Yeah. He gets a shitty lie on 18. and kind of gets away with one to like get it up in front of the green. Like he gets the bad break out in that like those sandy areas that like Bryson did not get like all week this week. Like he was getting every good breakout in the sandy areas, and Rory got it and like hit a good chip shot.
Yeah,
and yeah, I do look at the putt and you're like, yeah, he lined it up way outside left and was like, I'm just gonna lag this thing down there. And yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel like you gotta give that one a go. Like, just try and hammer that thing in the back.
Yeah, it's just got to hit the back of the cup, and if you hit it too hard and it goes through the back of the cup, all right. But
that was
either way. I mean, he played good. He just that major curse caught him, and I guess the question that you would probably ask eventually here is, can he win a major again? Was that his shot? I mean, those demons are definitely there more than ever now.
I mean, we're getting to the point where it feels like every year that he does this, the British at St. Andrews was like, man, that was the one. If he doesn't do it there, like, when's he going to do it? And then we get LACC last year, and it's like, man, if he doesn't do it there, when's he going to do it? And then, like, he puts himself back into contention again, and it's like, I mean, this one feels worse than, I don't know. The St. Andrews one felt pretty bad. Like, he just got run down and, like, didn't take it deep at a place where everyone was taking it deep, but
yeah,
man, it felt like this was his tournament to win. And I think that's a real question. Like, at what point, like, is he going to get it done? Like, if he's not, like, he's given himself some incredible opportunities. I know we're 10 years out of the last time he won one of these. And, there was a stretch, I think from like 2015 through like 2018, 2019, where he really didn't give himself any real chances. But like the last few years, he's been knocking on the door. He's been around it. He's been there on some Sundays. Like we're getting to the point where it's like, man, if he's not getting it done right now, when is he getting it done?
Probably in like 5 more years when we grow them off. But
I mean,
that one just felt different because like up until 16, he did everything that we would have wanted to see him do to go chase down Bryson, get a lead. Like, just looked like it was meant to be.
Yeah, he was making longer putts. Like, it wasn't the putter letting him down through 15 holes. And then all of a sudden, like, shit just happened again. And it's like, I just really, really, really wonder, like, what this does to him, too. Like, it's absolutely absurd that, like, this has happened again to him. And he's just gagged away yet another win in a major. And this can't, like, he just the statistics say you just can't keep giving yourselves all these chances. Like, eventually he's just not going to put himself into contention. I mean, hey, maybe he pulls a Phil and wins one like really late in his career, but it's like, man, he's building up a lot of scar tissue like along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? As somebody that plays a fair amount of golf, of like how volatile the game is, hole to hole, swing to swing, and then to go watch that on the biggest stage. You had a guy go from looking like every putt he stepped up he was going to make it to the last 3 holes looked like he couldn't even see the cup.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the craziest things is that it wasn't ever like he was. It didn't ever feel like he was really battling it today. It felt like he was hitting it to spots where he wanted to hit it. He was getting the putts to go in that he needed to go in. And then all of a sudden, like, the air in around Pinehurst got really thin, and he was struggling to breathe, and it was hard to bring it home down the stretch. On that side, like, on the flip side, to talk about Bryson, like, Bryson was hitting it all over the map. Like, it looked like he was dead on 8. It looked like he was dead on. Hang on, I gotta reference my notes here. Drives the green on 13, makes that birdie to come back. Bryson lived one out for birdie on 16. Like, hit a good one on 17 to like 15 feet and almost made it. Like, every time it looked like Bryson was going to be out of it in this thing, which it looked like a lot, he found a way to like get himself back into it. And it was like an incredible, like, just gritty performance from Bryson, who didn't seem like he had his best stuff today. I mean, he fucking cracked his driver on the driving range today. I don't know if you were around to see that. Like, he switched out his driver head on the fucking driving range 15 minutes before he teed off.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch that, but I heard about it. And at the same time, like, I mean, obviously it's the last day you want it to happen, but like I gotta think that's the exact same club.
Exact same one.
You know, these guys are all good. Where like you give them any club and they can hit the shots with it. But the biggest thing was like Bryson was kind of working his way out of it, and then Rory let him back in.
Yeah. So final winning scores was 5 under, and Bryson over the last 4 or 5 holes. Let me get back to the app here. Bryson shot 1 over today. He made a bogey on 15 and just made 3 pars coming in.
Right. No, exactly.
I mean, he did what he had to do. Like, there's no doubting that. He made some big par putts. He had a hell of an up and down on 10 after Rory had birdied 10 and 11 and got himself, right back into it when it looked like it could get a little weird for him. But, I mean, again, just Rory, 3 over through the last 4. It's hard to sit back and be like, yeah, Bryson went out and got it. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Bryson. Like, he did exactly what he had to do, and he won a tournament, and he's a 2-time major winner, and the crowd was embracing him. But, man, Rory's going to lay his head down tonight and be like, motherfucker, that was my tournament to win.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it was the putter, right? But, like, you look at 16, like, Rory gets that break or whatever because he hits it into the crowd and it kind of stays where he can, get a shot. But, like, then he goes and nukes a 7-iron. Apparently he hits 7-iron too far from, like, 205. But even through that, like, he hit it over the back and then he goes to 17 after he missed that short putt. And he seemed very patient. He seemed very much – I don't want to say he was protecting the lead or anything like that, but, like, he made good decisions and just the putter let him down when he needed it most. I mean, but it's the same club that put him there from the start.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's weird that in the same, not even just the same tournament, but like the same day, and the back in the same 9 holes. Really, I mean, he made great putts on 10. He made a great putt on 11. In the same 9 holes for his putter to kind of disappear on him. I mean, he made birdies on 10, 11, 12. He got a good up and down on 13 after he just absolutely nuked driver into the grandstands in the back, which felt a little intentional.
He meant to do that. Not necessarily like, I'm going to hit it over the back, but like he knew it was there and he knew back wasn't going to be that bad. Because if he takes the lead from the grandstands, he probably gets off that downslope and on the flat or even the upslope no matter what, like if it stays against it.
Yeah, but it was like the putter was what got him there on, he makes birdies on 9, 10, 12, 13. That's when he gets it up to 8. And then the putter leaves him, which is, it's one thing for the putter to leave you from one day to the next. It's a total other thing to go from having a hot putter, not to just like not a hot putter where like you stop making the 15 footers, but like to a putter that's letting you down from inside 5 feet.
Right. It makes you wonder too, like if one of those putts on 16 or 18, like if he's got a 6-7 footer, a 5 footer there, like does he go make it? I mean, I always joke that, like, hitting one tight on the first hole is just not what I want to do. Like, I want a good 10, 15 footer where I can just go roll the ball, and if it goes in, it goes in. But, it's interesting, like, if we could go back and have him hit a 5 footer there. I bet you he makes it, the way he was rolling the ball.
Yeah, there is something about, like, that. I mean, my mom always calls it the puke zone of, like, the inside 5 feet to, like, 2 feet, like, before it's, like, an actual gimme. Of, like, it's just... It's a zone where you're like, I know I should make this. But, like, at the same time, the statistics actually say you don't make as many of them as you really think you do.
No.
And it gets in your head, and, like, the putts you think you should make, you don't always make. And then it makes it just a whole mind fuck that is really going on in your head, and you're like, fuck. What a tournament, though. I mean... That's one of the better majors we've seen since when? I mean,
yeah. So we talked Friday if you want to get into the course and everything, but like
that was my next thing right after this. Yeah, so go for it if you're ready.
We talked Friday and you asked me what my thoughts were on the course, and I said I needed to see the weekend, and I felt like for the most part they did what I wanted to see them do, which is make it a little more accessible for birdies, and could have been a little more exciting with some birdies, but. They did what they set out to do as the U.S. Open, too, and not have 30, 40 guys under par. And the more I thought about the tournament, the more I kind of appreciated the U.S. Open because you have to play golf for 4 days to win a U.S. Open. You can't have that a little bit off round.
You don't get to sneak in a 68 when you've kind of scabbed it around and just throw a 63 out there to make up for it.
Yeah, and at the same time, I mean, you can use Cantlay yesterday as a perfect example. He hit it horrible, but he chipped and putted his way into the tournament to stay in it. So I think overall,
Cantlay was an interesting study this week. So he comes out the first day and shoots 65, then shoots 71 the second day, 70 on Saturday, and then 70 again today. And it really did not look like he had his best stuff, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and was hitting the shit out of his irons. I think he led the tournament in strokes gained approach on Thursday, and then was I think at one point was 110th or something like that on Friday.
Well,
so he grinded his
irons were horrible too.
Oh yeah, I mean he grinded his way to stay in the tournament and had some legit shots. I mean, finishes at what? Did he finish at 3, or did he finish at 4?
Put on 18. If he makes that birdie putt on 18, he's in the playoff right now. No?
No, he'd be one back. Bryson finished at 6.
Oh, finished at 6, okay.
Yeah, so if he makes a birdie putt on... But, he had a couple of birdie looks, coming down the stretch where you're man, if you could just make this, you're a real player.
Yeah.
What did you think about the 5th hole today? Cantlay and Rory got some really, really bad breaks on the 5th hole. In the kind of the course of golf course talk here.
Unfortunately, I had stepped away at that time. So, I did not see the breaks on the 5th hole.
Yeah, it was... I know our colleague from the last time we did this, Mr. Jeff Slanovic, he sent us a profound text at the time and said, this is the reason I'm out on Pinehurst. Rory hit one that probably got to 20, 25 feet from the hole, dead center of the green, rolled back off, and ended up in the sandy area. Cantlay hit one that did something similar but rolled back off into the bunker. He ended up being okay. Rory's landed in almost a step mark. Had some trouble with some of that, the wire brush, as they call it. And tried to have to almost punch one, out and around the bunker to get it around.
I do recall which one it was. I came back in for that. I didn't see how they rolled off the green.
Yeah, Rory's was up on the green. You saw it and you're oh, Rory's going to have an eagle shot. And then all of a sudden it starts trickling backwards. And I do get the complaint that, man, Rory hit a really good shot in there. I know he was, on his shot, and he's and he's giving it kind of that. He's he knew he missed it too far left, but, that did feel like a spot where it was, overly penal for a shot that was pretty damn good. It wasn't perfect. I get that. If it was perfect, it goes another 4 or 5 feet, and then it trickles up above the false front. But, is that what we want out of a golf tournament? And if it is... Okay, you can have that opinion, but is that the answer to is that hey, when this is the U.S. Open, we just deal with that? Is that what that is?
Right. Well, and that's where this course is a little polarizing because that hole all week, the more you watch it, the guys that made birdie just hit it right over the green, and it's okay, I get the misses thing, but that's where I was saying the other day, let's just pick pin positions where we don't have as marginal as shots, Because you're basically asking the guy there, hey, you got to go hit it right at the green, which those guys are good enough. They know how to do it. But at the same time, that's where you take away a guy being able to go win the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said in there, there's the thought that hey, well, like you said, if the guys hit it right at the green, they make birdie. So there's that aspect to it, which is always an interesting one that hey, if you know where the miss is, that's what you do. And if you miss it left of right of the green, and then at the same time, you're well, we don't want the guys aiming right of the green. You want them to be able to go at the pin. And it'd be interesting what the discussion would be if this was later, if that hole was later in the round. Versus it kind of gets...
If it's on the back nine, they probably blow it out right. And just
try to
get ready.
Because it is. It's there's a real interest in how you play holes that kind of get buried out in the front nine. And versus what you do, coming down the stretch on the back nine. Any other golf course thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing I notice is your guys that were around on Sunday, late in the day, were all the guys who looked the most comfortable on that course. Those guys that just made it in the cut line or were over par both days, they never, aside from maybe Morikawa yesterday, nobody that far back ever looked like they got comfortable on that course to make a move.
Yeah, Morikawa was 2 over today. Tommy Fleetwood with a 2 under today, and the most Tommy Fleetwood thing of all time is going to post a T16 on another major he's never even been close to being involved in.
Yeah, I didn't know he shot 200 today.
Yeah, never saw him once on the telecast, by the way.
No.
Also, I think you were kind of out a little bit early in the telecast. When they got to the back 9, the coverage was fine. The front 9, the coverage was fucking abysmal.
I was back for when the leaders teed off.
Okay, so when the leaders teed off, the coverage was fucking bad. And I think you were texting me, you're like, man, I don't know if I'm hanging around for this. I may go out and play golf myself. And I do think coverage had a lot to do with that. That said,
coverage, and I didn't like how the leaderboard was shaping up at that time. It just felt like Bryson was going to run away early in the round. And I was like, maybe I'll just go play golf instead because there's not going to be anything to watch. And then Rory started making birdies around the time I was planning on exiting. Yeah, I didn't make it far.
Yeah, I mean, shit, what a tournament. I mean, though, that was just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, coverage early was, that was bad. But I mean, I guess if you have to eat that coverage on the first 6 holes to get how they played it out good on when all the leaders got to the back 9, the commercials died. They chilled with the playing through, and then we got the last hour and a half commercial free. So I mean, I guess if these guys got to pay bills and I got to eat the first hour and a half to have the last 2.5 hours be okay, I'll do that, I guess, right? Is that? I mean, it's not unreasonable for these guys to have to make money doing this, right?
Yeah, I think. And the other thing when you're showing different groups, I know they like to show the high profile guys. I almost wish they would focus more on showing holes that later in the round they're going to be pivotal, like 13 show, and they showed 13 a little bit, but go show 13 where, hey, these guys can hit driver and have a chance to make eagle or whatever. This pin here is dicey. This is what they expect here. I wish they would kind of set up the leaders rounds for us a bit better.
Yeah, they did it a couple times. I think they showed Tony Finau hitting the 13. You didn't really get a lot of 17. But yeah, it feels like you can be hey, we're, instead of just watching someone walk up the fairway, just be hey, over on 14, here's one shot. And then back to the leaders. And then here's the guy on 15 and back to the leaders real quick. It just feels like that is something they kind of miss on.
The other thing, Tony Finau hitting, that's great. But that's what, 2 groups, 1 group ahead?
Yeah.
Give me a guy that started an hour before that's, on the back 9 when they're mid-front 9. Be hey, here, here's something that could change the tournament later in the day.
Yeah, it feels like there's a miss on how to cover golf a little bit. And you wonder, and again, we're probably in the minority in the kind of people who watch golf. You even more so than me. I've played a fair amount of competitive golf. You way more than I have. You're a much better player than I have, but
I play a lot of poor competitive golf.
I play a little bit of very poor competitive golf in comparison. But it does feel we are such outliers in the people who watch golf, that have played competitively in high school and college and play, state AM qualifiers. And, I don't really play high level better ball stuff, but when you do play better ball stuff and try and qualify for stuff like that, we are very much the outliers in the golf, community, if you will.
Right.
I feel like sometimes our requests for what we want to see are a little bit I don't want to say unreasonable, but just not what the general public is looking for when they're watching golf. And I do have to temper myself sometimes and be I'm probably not the target audience here. They're looking for the guy who probably turns it on, oh, the U.S. Open's on. It's, 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. The leaders are getting to the back 9. They swing over, leaderboard's good. Let's see what Bryson and Rory do. And it's they're really not interested in up ahead at the golf on the 14th hole. Here's Mark Hubbard to see how he plays the hole. Like it doesn't really vibe with what like everybody else is looking for. Like, do you am I making any sense when I'm saying that?
Yeah, because I think the coverage very much shifts to we're going to show the guys that are playing to win the tournament. Maybe two guys that are just on the fringe of it. And, there may be a guy in that second last pairing that's having a horrible day and you won't see him hit a shot. But to the general public, it's probably very much of, I'm just watching to see who wins.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw in a Mark Hubbard on whatever hole where he almost makes a one. And, somebody hit a great shot here. There's some storyline to it. Whatever, this guy birdied this hole all 3 rounds. Oh, he didn't make it on the 4th try. But, yeah, overall, I mean, it's just coverage of a couple guys when you get down to it late in the day. Or even late in the front 9 for the leaders.
Yep. Our good colleague, Mr. Jeff Slanovic, sent us a couple things. He said, make sure the OWH fans know that Jeffy said Bryson was the favorite after Friday. I think we all said that, so congrats to you, Jeff, that you said what everyone else said.
I was on the Ludwig train.
You were? Okay.
Jeff, not as intelligent as our friend Jeffy.
Jeff wanted to let you know that he said Ludwig had no shot at all. What Ludwig finish up? He made another triple early in the round today. 3 over today. 3 over. So he goes 73 today, and what was the 73? He goes 73 on the weekend. Only his 3rd major, though. This was something I thought, and this is an absurd take, I know. As I was like thinking about Ludwig, I was like, man, he's getting himself into major contention very, very, very early in his career. Like, he takes a 2nd in his first major. He wasn't really involved at the PGA, but, like, he was very involved late Saturday this year. What does it do to a guy like him to get very involved in majors so early in his career and, like, kind of have heartbreak? Like, if, he plays well in a couple more, and, like, this is kind of a thing of the past where he gets himself way up and makes some big mistakes, which he made a real big mistake at the Masters when he hooked it into the water on 11. He makes the big mistake Saturday. He makes an early triple today. And again, I'm aware how fucking absurd this sounds, what I'm about to say, but, like, I do wonder, like, can he get himself to a point where he, like, rattles himself so much very early in his career that this, like, drags on for a long time, and a guy we think should win 2, 3, 4, 5 majors maybe, like, kind of gets into his own head, like, kind of like a Sergio type of situation. Like, people kind of were like, oh, when Sergio showed up, like, he was going to win a bunch, and then he didn't. Like, he had a lot of, like, scar tissue early, and then didn't start closing majors out and, like, just snuck one in late. And you kind of look back at Sergio's career, and you're like, man, that's a guy you thought would have won more than one major.
Yeah, I mean, get what you're saying. I don't think it happens to him. I think the bigger question is, like, yeah, he's learning. He's, building some scar tissue up, whatever. Like, he's making mistakes that, like, if he takes 2 triples off the card and just makes his bogey, like, he's still in the conversation coming down the stretch today. But I think the bigger question, like, he's playing at such a high level right now, and guys kind of come and go from that. Like,
yeah,
can he maintain that? That's what I would see is, like, are these going to be his shots now, or is he going to keep playing like this, and still be around them?
Yeah, another guy who did this, and I think Ludwig has way more game than him and seems to have a much better, like, feel for himself and, like, a much better mental space. Matt Wolff, in his first year on tour, played all 3 majors in 2020. He got cut at the Masters, T4 at the PGA that year, and 2nd at the U.S. Open that Bryson won, and then has disappeared. He got DQ'd from the Masters in 21. He took 15th at the U.S. Open. He didn't make the PGA. Then in 2022, he missed the cut at the Masters, missed the cut at the PGA, didn't play in either the U.S. Open or the Open Championship. I think that was some injury stuff, and has not been in another major since. I say that with the thought that Ludwig has way more game than him, hits it better, has improved his chipping, is a solid putter, and seems to have a much better mental state than Matt Wolff, who has kind of gone through the ringer. But, like, these guys show up and then, like, disappear. I mean, Anthony Kim's another example. I mean, you can go back through time. I mean, David Duval was the best player in the world for like 20 months, and then just completely lost it, and kind of stole a major after he lost it, and then disappeared again. Like, it's just something I wonder. I don't really think that happens to Ludwig, but like, it's out there.
Right. I'm going to throw another guy. I don't know that he ever got involved in majors or anything like that, but he was kind of talked about. I forgot he was even in existence until today when I happened to look at a Corn Ferry leaderboard. Ollie Schneider-Jans.
Oh, I remember him. Yep.
I saw his name today, and I'm like, I forgot he even played on the PGA Tour. And I don't think he ever won or anything like that, but like he kind of was like somebody that people talked about a little bit, mainly because he didn't wear a hat. But he was
supposed to be the next big thing. Yeah, he won 5 of 6. I'm just reading his Wikipedia. He won 5 of 6 events leading up to the NCAA Division I championships. Finished runner-up after a 3-hole playoff. Became the number 1 ranked amateur in the world for 41 consecutive weeks. Earned exemptions in the 2015 U.S. Open and Open Championship. He finished 12th at the British Open in 2015, so that's probably what you're thinking. Like, he was probably maybe not in it, but was probably around on that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he was just. I remember him being a big deal coming out of college. And I don't know if you have live from the U.S. Open on right now, but I missed what the beginning part of this is. But Bryson is just raking the bunker on 18 from where he hit his bunker shot like continuously. I don't know if
fucking awesome.
He has a trophy in his hand, so I don't know if they like took a picture there. But either way, he's been raking this bunker for like 30, 45 seconds. And I can't really
gotta get this on. I mean, Bryson, what an incredible transformation for Bryson. Yeah, I see he's back out in that bunker again. Yep, he is still raking it, as you're saying.
He is still raking. And I don't know you got cameramen walking through it, which is hysterical that he's sitting there raking it because there's literally a camera guy standing in the middle.
There is also a huge line of footprints, like, into it.
Yeah.
Are these, like, other cameramen or are these Bryson's cameramen? Is the next question.
I have no clue. One other thought on 18, and we never saw anyone that was on coverage hit it there to know what the answer was. But what to the right was so penal that everybody missed it left in the exact same spot. Every drive I saw on 18 went over in that same wiregrass waste area.
That's a good question. Let's see if I can find something on.
I mean, it looks like waste area. Don't get me wrong, but like if you look at the angle of that green, it looks like it sets up better from the right side.
Let's see if we can find something on the overhead here. I don't want directions to Pinehurst. I just want to go to Pinehurst.
Me too.
Hey, we're working on it. All right. Fuck, I can't find the 18th hole. Where's number 2? There's only 87 courses at Pinehurst to try and work ourselves through this. Here's 2.
Are you on like just Google Maps or Google Earth looking at it?
Yeah, I just found it. I mean, here, I'll share it here. I mean, if you're looking at it, it's not. So, I mean, if you see there, like, just in front of those trees on the left side of the hole, the lower side of the screen, is where everybody was hitting it. So, I mean, you have that bunker right, but they seem to have been clearing that bunker. So, yeah. I mean, I guess you could kind of get blocked out by these trees over in the upper right side here.
Right.
But, like, at the same token, like, Bryson was kind of blocked out by the trees up on the left, and I know he hits it farther, but, like, you'd have to think as long as you clear the bunker, I don't know, maybe that bunker is more in play than...
Can you zoom out of the touch just to see where the tee is?
So I think the tee's, like, back here, right? Like, this would be the tee.
So, I mean, obviously the answer is they're all aiming left and trying to cut it back, except for maybe Bryson. I'm not sure what he was trying to do because he doesn't seem like he cuts the ball too great.
No, I think Bryson just had to line it up down the right and hope not to, like, overcut it. So, I mean, overdraw it. So, 582, so there's 3 yards for every foot, or 3 feet for every yard. So, I mean, 600 feet is 200 yards. So, where's 900? That doesn't make sense. There must be a tee deeper back here. Is that the 18th, or is that like not? No, that can't be 9. 9's a par 3. I mean, that looks like 18, right? Because this is where Bryson hit it.
It looks like 18 to me.
Who knows? I mean, the Google Earth.
If you look at the angle of that green, I mean, it certainly doesn't set up, especially if it's firm, to come in from the left side.
No, yeah, I mean, like, if you're looking at this, like, you want to, like, coming in from the right would be the better angle, just on the overhead, it looks like, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you and I weren't playing out there as much as we're critiquing these PGA Tour players.
Here, I would have been 30 yards short and right of that bunker, hitting a punch shot to 175. Then I would have had 7-iron that would have either flare cut right or pull hooked left to either long left or way short right, probably just over that bunker, probably caught the edge of it, which if I caught the edge of it, I would have skull fucked back to the back of the green into the grandstands and had to take a drop, and there's a quick 8 real fast.
Well, the good news is I wouldn't have been playing today to be able to do any of that, but Thursday or Friday I would have had an issue with that hole.
Shit. Well, Dish, anything else? Anything else to kind of wrap up what was a fantastic U.S. Open? Best major since when?
That's a good question. I'm having a hard time remembering when there was one that was that much of a shootout. I feel like the U.S. Open that Matt Fitzpatrick's win was pretty good because I think he made birdie from the bunker on 18 to win by 1.
Yeah, he had a really good one out of that bunker.
Yeah, like it was in the balance coming down 18, and he went, just like Bryson did today, he went and hit a shot to win the tournament. But that's the one that's ringing the bell to me.
I'm thinking that one. I'm thinking Phil's PGA win.
Yeah.
Was pretty wild. The British with Rory was pretty good, where he choked it away there, and Cam Smith came back and won. 2019 Masters, like it's in that, like it's one of the best majors in the last 5-6 years for sure.
Right. Do we think the difference today was the amount of food Bryson ate pre-round versus Rory?
I think that was a thing I think that was like showing his diet from like 2 years ago.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure that was the thing. I don't think that was that. I think that was with big boy beefy Bryson, not just big boy Bryson, Triple B, as I've been known to call him.
Right. Yeah, that would have been an incredible meal to eat before you went and played golf in 95 degrees.
I would have been puking and or shitting my pants, maybe both at the same time.
I was thinking just I would have fallen asleep, especially playing behind Cantley.
Yeah, he's not quick.
No. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good tournament. And I'm in for at least, Pinehurst in 5 years. I'd like to see him make it, like I said, just have it a little more scoreable. I don't know if I don't even think you need to soften the greens. I think just slow them down a touch where some of those balls don't come off.
Yeah.
Away from the slopes, a little more.
And this could look a little different in 5 years. Like, golf ball rollback is in place. I don't know what that actually does.
Oh, that bullshit's still a thing?
Yeah, that's still a thing, and I think they're going full speed ahead, and they were kind of talking at the start of the week that they were going to start looking at drivers. I don't think drivers would make the cut by 2029, like with how long it takes them to do stuff, but quick thought, golf ball rollback. What is your thought on, like, the USGA rolling back the golf ball for everybody?
I mean, I don't think it's worthwhile, honestly. Because they're doing it on the basis of the guys on the TV, right? And these guys are good. They're professionals. Like, they're going to go find something else to get an edge. It may be finding, club speeds that we never thought of.
I mean, they're hitting ball speeds like touching 190 right now.
Right.
Like, you think they're not going to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, Bryson does it all the time where he gets a 200 mile per hour ball speed, effortlessly. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's such a bad idea for the everyday golfer.
So what? I mean, realistically, you roll that back. What's the legal length of driver can be? 47, 46?
46 and a half or 47, something like that.
So you'll probably see guys. Everyone will go max that out. Not everyone, but you'll have your share of guys who are like, okay, I'll just get a 2-inch longer driver. They're going to figure out how to hit it.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's anything that's going to make a difference. I mean, these guys, like I said, they do nothing but golf and train. So they're going to find a way around it. They're like every other sport. They're always trying to get faster, stronger, better. It's not really any different on the PGA Tour in today's world for 75%. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got some some guys out there that aren't as keen on it. But even going back to Harry Higgs, he cut the booze out and is losing weight, and he's holing out to win tournaments on the Corn Fair.
Yeah, I think I'd be totally okay if they made a different set of rules for the guys on the PGA Tour and the U.S. Open and even the USAM and stuff like that.
Right.
But to roll the ball back for your guys playing, the local muni or the local private track, even there's some guys out of your course that hit it far, but they hit it far sometimes, and then other times they don't, and then other times they hit it off the map. And yeah, I know golf courses can't be 8,000 yards all over the place, but for 99% of us, the golf ball going a little farther than it used to is a good thing. Hit the ball farther, keep going, move on, play fucking quicker.
Yeah, I mean,
on the PGA Tour, sure, you want to save a couple courses that you've lost over the years, I'm fine with it. But and this is the PGA Tour's fault, probably more than the USGA, because the USGA did just want to suggest it for the pros. And the PGA Tour is we're not into that. Just dumb. Just dumb, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good answer other than, it's everyone or it's no one. Not that I intend to play in any U.S. Open or anything like that, but, you take one of those guys that is a Neil Shipley of the world where all of a sudden he goes here and he has to go play with an entirely different golf ball. And, of course, he's not stacked up like everyone else is to begin with. It's just it would get really messy in that stuff. Or I can go play a standard Pro V1 every day of the week, and then I want to go play a U.S. Mid-Am qualifier, and I got to go grab a different ball. Or if your local state golf association grabs it, I got to play a different ball for that too because they fall in line with USGA. So I don't know.
It gets weird.
There's a good answer either way, other than not do it. That seems like the best answer.
I mean, I think if you were wanting to do this, you were about 20 years too late to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I just, like I said, I mean, is it going to make a difference? If these guys go shoot 20 under somewhere and you make their ball go 20 yards shorter, what are they going to shoot? Maybe 18? Probably still 20 under because they hit every club in their bag pretty damn tight.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I always laugh at. People were bitching about Valhalla getting the 16 under. It's a par 72, so you have 8 extra shots.
Right.
So, I mean, you just make Valhalla a par 70. They shot 8 under. The winner today shot 6 under.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was a different course and it was kind of a different style of play, but if you're just bitching about score to par, which is made up, par is just a made up number. That's all it is.
Number, whatever it is, should be 10 shots higher.
God. All right, Dish. I think we covered it all, my man. I appreciate you. So, any parting shots here for you?
I got a couple.
All right, fire them away.
Well, one was something you asked me earlier, and I think this question got scratched after the putter, but if Rory McIlroy could drive the ball for me, where would my game be? Fuck,
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm a pretty good putter, so I think I would have won the U.S. Open. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, dude, I'm gonna fight you on that one.
I would have missed the cut. I don't think it'd do shit for my game. I might make a couple extra birdies, but I'd find my doubles and triples all the same, and maybe
You don't think it'd do shit for your game?
I'd shoot a couple.
He's hitting it 70 yards farther than you are.
Probably 8. The problem is I'd still have to go hit a second shot that was worth a damn, and then even if I'm still hitting good second shots, I got to make putts, so maybe a shot or two around.
I think it's a 4 to 5 shot difference for you, easy.
I don't. I'm going to stick with 1 to 2.
I think it's 4 to 5.
You can have that opinion. I'm just telling you, I still got to get the ball in the hole.
I agree, but maybe you're don't drive it into trouble the way I do. I am an awful driver of the golf ball. It's hard to explain how bad I am with driver. For being a single digit handicap, and I think my handicap is so fucking fake. I'm a single digit handicap, and I'm I just skank around 2 or 3 times a year and shoot 72 or 74 or something like that, and it just totally fucks my handicap. Most of the time I'm struggling to break 80. But if I could drive it, and I'm not saying I'd be under par consistently at all, but I would throw a couple under par rounds in a year, and it's if right now not playing Towanda, playing Towanda, I could get a couple under par rounds every year. Like, if I get one under par round every year, I'm like, oh, fuck.
I'm gonna keep that.
I was really hot today.
Mine when you try to get 10 strokes around off me and Zach this year.
I'm terrible, though. Like, you guys do it every time you play there. You're, like, scaring par. I do it, like, twice a year.
Either way.
All right. We're done.
Yeah,
unless you said you had two things. Go ahead.
Well, I think on that Rory thing, I mean, that's a good point you make. I do generally drive the ball okay.
I still think are you a plus handicap right now?
Currently, we are trending to a 1.
You're easily a plus. You're 2 or 3 shots better, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get to a 1 or a 2. I'm going to hit a couple more wedges around. Okay. I still have to make the putts, though. That's what it comes down to, where I don't think it's that big of a difference. Where I make,
I don't think you go out and start winning, like, State-Am stuff, but, like, you're there on the weekend. Like, you're playing the weekends on all of them.
Yeah, maybe. So, my other question for you is right now, just British Open thoughts, picks.
The British is so tough because it's like you don't actually
win it. I feel like
you don't even know like what the course is going to be like. We're a month away. Like they could go through a drought. It could rain every day. The wind could blow 40 miles an hour one day, or it could blow 40 miles an hour for half the day one day, and then the other half of the day the next day. And you can get caught on the complete wrong side of the draw. It could fucking pour for 24 straight hours, and the guys who tee off in the afternoon could play in it again in the morning. While, like, the morning then late wave can play in complete, like, perfect weather. Like, the British Open is such a crapshoot. So, like, I have no thoughts.
The only thing guaranteed is you're getting up early.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's a guarantee in that. And then it's my least favorite major. I like the British less than I like the PGA.
I think it depends how the British plays. If it's firm and windy, I think it's a fun major to watch because you see a lot of different shots than you normally see. If it's rainy, wet, soft, like it's very
It's
dull.
like a kind of a slog to get through, yeah.
Yeah. But if it plays firm and fast with some wind, like this reminded me in a way of like the British with just how many different shots you see people hit. I mean,
it reminded me like a baked out British, like the one Tiger won at what was it, Holy Lake, when he just hit 2 irons off every tee.
Yeah, I think it's Holy Lake. I don't think it's Holy, but
whatever. They should learn how to pronounce things in Britain.
I believe like there's no L prior to the Y.
I said Holy Lake.
Holy, you're saying Holy Lake.
Yeah.
There's
it's a Holy
Hoyl.
Well, then they should learn how to spell.
Fair enough.
What? All right, Dish. I think we've covered it all. I appreciate you, brother. We'll probably talk again soon.
What about your speed training?
We're back. We're back tomorrow. I've been out on a knee injury, torn ACL, torn meniscus. We've been nursing that, so we're back to that tomorrow. My golf game's in shambles. Hopefully that finds me. At least I can just start hitting it farther again. I've lost like 10 yards from where I was last year when I gained like 15. I've probably lost like 20 yards from where I was post my like gain last year. So
give me an ad on what you're using. Maybe we'll get a little sponsorship for you.
It's the stack system. It's an incredible tool. I for sure gained like 15 yards last year. Just for reference, like number 1 at Towanda, I went from hitting it like 3/4 up the hill to I drove it every day of the invite, like pin higher or better. I made 0 birdies though.
You can't get to that green.
I made 0. Get the stack. You'll be there.
I get the stack at Moe's usually.
All right, we're done. We're done, Dish. When we get to Moe's, we're done. All right, thanks, Dish.
Welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's. Cleveland Guardians. I'll be honest with you guys. I did not watch a lot of baseball this week. Most of my time was devoted to the U.S. Open. So I really don't have a ton to say here. Really, all I have to say is not the best week for Cleveland. Split with the Reds, win the first game of the little 2-game set there. Then they head up to Toronto. They've been on a little bit of a road run here. They were in Miami end of last week, and then headed to Cincinnati, and then up to Toronto. win the first game in Toronto as well, and then drop the next two, get shut out in the Saturday game, 5-0 loss, and then lose again on Sunday. That leaves Cleveland still 5 games up in the division. They are 44-25, 5 ahead of the next best Royals, who are 41-32. Cleveland only 5-5 in their last 10 games. Luckily, the Royals are 4-6. They've actually gained a game in that time frame. Twins playing a little better. They're 7-3. They still have the third best record in the AL, and no one in the NL has a better record than they do. They have as many wins as the Dodgers, but have played 4 less games. The Phillies have cooled off just ever so slightly. They're 5-5 in their last 10. The Nationals and the Mets are on nice little rolls here. 8 of their last 10. So this week I'll be watching a lot more baseball. No Guardians on Monday night as I record this. They start a 3-game homestand with the Mariners, and then after that, the Blue Jays come right back to town. So they're home for all 6 games this week. The Mariners are the league leaders out in the AL West. They've been playing some good ball of late. 7 of their last 10 have been in the win column. They're 43-31, so that's going to be a tougher series. And then the Blue Jays, who are a team that's, kind of scratching at the edge of just being above 500, are going to come right back to town and try and expand on that success. So it's another week with some solid teams they got to play. The only other thing to really update as of right now is the first round of All-Star voting has wrapped up, and some Cleveland guys to be mindful of. Josh Naylor is third in the first baseman voting, though he is 290,000 votes behind the Orioles' Ryan Mountcastle, who is behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for the Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez shows up 5th for the second baseman, but again, a long, long way back of the second place. Marcus Semien, it's at give or take 300,000 votes. Jose Ramirez is running away with the American League third baseman first place votes. He has 742,000, a little over double next best, the Orioles' Jordan Westburg. If you get out to the outfield, Stephen Kwan, they take 3 outfielders start there, so he is just over 130, just about 130,000 votes back of Kyle Tucker for that third spot. The Yankees' Aaron Judge and Juan Soto lead that with 1.3 and 1.2 million votes each. And then I believe the designated hitter, yes, David Fry, just about 100,000 back of Yordan Alvarez in first, and Giancarlo Stanton is only about 30,000 ahead of him there. So some guards in the mix for All-Star voting. So you got to get your votes in for the guards there. So fun week coming up. Couple big series. We got a couple games against the Mariners. Some earlier starts there. 6:40 starts over in Cleveland, and an afternoon game Thursday. And then we have a 6:10 start, 7:10 start Eastern with the Blue Jays, and then a couple of earlier games, the 3:10, the 4:10 afternoon, and then the 1:40 on Sunday to wrap it up. And then we'll head to the Orioles after that. So it'll be important with the Orioles and the Royals. OWH albums for this week. We head to Countryland. Jason Aldean's My Kinda Party. And this CD came out in 2010, November of 2010. I had just changed schools. I was going to Misericordia University. It was the fall of that year, and I can remember the first time I heard this, we had wanted to go get some food. I think we went down to Wendy's. I think we went to get some Wendy's. And when we got in the car on Sirius XM, they were playing this album start to finish in the car. And down to Wendy's and back might have been, 10 minutes each way. And so there's 20 minutes, you're in line. And I remember when we were pulling back into the house, we thought we were pretty close to the end of the CD. It was probably a 30-minute trip, start to finish. And so we sat in the car and listened to this album. It was myself, fellow OWH contributor, Mr. Matt Wader, then a couple of our roommates, B-Car and Undy. And we just sat in his car, and Undy had Sirius XM or whatever it was at the time. I don't know if it was just Sirius or just XM. And we stayed in that car, ate our Wendy's, and listened to the entirety of that album. We had already been listening to My Kind of Party. I think they had released that as a single before the rest of the album. So I think it had already come out. Let me see if I can see that anywhere on here. That'll tell me. See if My Kind of Party, see if it says when they released that. Yeah, they had released that in August, so we had already been listening to that. And that was a song that we played at every fucking party we threw in college. Just inevitably that thing was going to come on at least once, usually multiple times. I mean, this was our hanging out, drinking CD. There was no doubt about it. And this is a no skipper. I mean, you just go right down the line here. Tattoos on This Town, great song. Dirt Road Anthem was awesome. Church Pew or Barstool is good. Just Passing Through. Flyover States, My Kind of Party. My personal favorite song on this album, I Ain't Ready to Quit. Actually written by Thomas Rhett. It Ain't Easy's a good one. Country Boys World. The Heartache That Don't Stop Hurtin'. Texas Was You. Don't You Want to Stay with Kelly Clarkson, which might be the worst song on this entire CD. See You When I See You. Days Like These, which is another banger. And If She Could See Me Now. So just start to finish, fun CD, fun hanging out, drinking with the boys. There were some interesting writers on here. So you had Brantley Gilbert and Colt Ford wrote Dirt Road Anthem. Josh Thompson was one of the writers on Church Pew or a Barstool. David Lee Murphy was a writer for Just Passing Through. I already mentioned Thomas Rhett. So some interesting writers on here. You know, not a lot of people write their own stuff in country music. It's a lot of people taking other people's writings. You know, they have a bunch of writers in the catalogs that they go through. So just a really fun CD takes you back to a really fun time of just hanging out in college with the boys, tossing a few beers back and just bullshitting and playing a lot of Tiger Woods with this CD going in the background. So really fun CD. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I couldn't come to a decision. So I will. It'll be a surprise for us next week. So that's another edition of OWH Albums Completed. Time for some passing thoughts. I'll be honest with you guys. Again, a lot of what I did this weekend was watch golf. So there's not going to be a ton to add here. The great Jerry West passed away this past week. The logo, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Really kind of revolutionary guy for his time, and then went on to have one of the greatest careers in the NBA front office history. What is incredible is that his career as a front office executive may be even better than what he did as a player. He helped build the Lakers dynasty of the 80s. Then helped build the early 2000s dynasty with Kobe Bryant. He made a wild trade by trading Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant. Vlade Divac was a very good player at the time. He kind of rebuilt the team a little bit in the mid-90s with Vlade Divac and Nick Van Exel. Signed Shaquille O'Neal, brought in Phil Jackson. So a very, very good run for about 20 years in LA as an executive after his playing in a short coaching career. He is played in, he's in Winning Time. Oh, who played? Jason Clark, I believe, plays him in Winning Time, which is a fun series, by the way. Then he goes to the Memphis Grizzlies and kind of helps them kind of become a solid franchise. It wasn't really remarkable. But then kind of his swan song is he ends up working with the Golden State Warriors. And I believe I think he gets a little bit of a minority stake. He gets there in 2011, and by the time he leaves in 2017, they're an absolute dynasty. So it just absolutely incredible. I guess he went on to with the Clippers, huh? I didn't remember that he spent some time with the Clippers. It said up until 2024. Interesting. I never knew that. But yeah, just Just an incredible, player. Averaged 30 points a game multiple times throughout his career. Was a career 27 point per game average, while also averaging just under 7 assists. So steals and blocks for him were only recorded in his last year of playing. No 3-point line at the time. Was a terrific free throw shooter. Shot over 80% for the majority of his career. Led the Lakers to the NBA championship a number of times, only winning one. I believe they went something like 11 times. 1, 2, 3. That's got to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is it 7 or 8 times? Maybe not quite 11. And then obviously he is the logo, the man from West Virginia, Jerry West. R.I.P. to the great Jerry West. I did see maybe the dumbest personalized license plate I've ever seen in my life. It said Srixon. So, I mean, I'm on the record as being against personalized license plates, but a personalized license plate that says Srixon, that may top the list as being one of the dumbest ones there is. I don't know that I've ever seen a license plate so bad. Srixon. Okay. Whatever floats your boat. A couple of golf things. I guess the PGA Tour Policy Board is going to review a proposal this week about Tiger Woods getting a lifetime exemption into the signature events. And I knew as soon as I clicked on the comments, I was going to see a bunch of people bitching like, "Oh, he doesn't need why? What?" Like, Tiger Woods can show up to any event. And I have literally said, if you want to put him in on Saturday and just give him the field average, I don't care. Like, he gets to do whatever he wants. There is no golf in the way we know it still to this day without Tiger Woods. Just, it doesn't happen. Like, he can do whatever the hell he wants. And I'm not even like the biggest Tiger fan. Let's just stay in the golf theme while we're at it, and then we'll close up with some different stuff. There was this tweet from Matt Janella. U.S. Opens at courses accessible to the public are so much better / more interesting than stuffy, pretentious clubs, which is to say Pinehurst over LACC. Pinehurst over LACC is no doubt 100% true. The atmosphere at LACC kind of stunk, and LAC was hard to get to. It was hard to get tickets for. They kind of joked that it was the corporate U.S. Open, so I'll get that. But let's not act like Pinehurst is so accessible to the majority of people who play golf. Yes, everybody has the option to do it. That doesn't mean it's within everyone's rights. It's not a local muni. I mean, it's not Bethpage or Torrey Pines where, the residents of the state or the county can play it for under $100 and people coming from out of state. I played Bethpage Black a number of years back, and I think I paid $150 for it living out of state. That was 8 years ago now, though, so I'm sure that's up. And I actually just looked at some packages to play Pinehurst, and that include number 2. Pinehurst has 10 courses. And to play number 2, in most of the packages, there's an upcharge. To get on one of the packages where there is no upcharge, it's an unlimited golf. It's not cheap. It's not Pebble Beach is $600 or $700 a round. I know they're public and everyone has the option to, but it's not like these are really available courses. I mean, Whistling Straits, I think you have to stay at the $300 a night hotel or get really lucky. So it's oh yeah, this is a public course. I've never really liked that argument because yeah, they're public and yes, they're accessible, but man, they're not accessible in the way of a local muni. There are a couple of courses that they play for major championships that are legit public, very accessible courses that don't kill you to play them. A lot of these places are once in a lifetime kind of things. And yes, you're never getting on Oakmont unless you know somebody. You're never getting on Shinnecock unless you know somebody. And even then, there's probably rules and restrictions to it. That doesn't mean the golf is any different. I mean, everybody can go to the U.S. Open at Oakmont. There's nothing stopping you. There are certain places that they play U.S. Opens at private clubs, LACC is one of them, where it's probably tougher to get tickets. Marion comes to mind because it's a small venue, a small footprint that you have to have, restrictions on how many people are there. But again, let's just not act like these super expensive private resort courses are you show up and be like, hey, I'd love to get out. We'll hop in line and, there we go. Or we book a tee time a week in advance. So that argument always annoys me a little bit. Oh, speaking of golf, my golf game's still in shambles. I'm looking for any and all recommendations for training tools, tips, drills. I'm hitting like these not blasty. I'm not blasting anything. These like wipey, weak push cuts with the driver, or I'm like pulling it. And every once in a while, I hit like a really good one. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm capable of this. And then I'm hitting I'm not even making great contact. Like it's just not popping it with the driver. And then in the same token, I'm making good contact with the irons. But so many times I'm so out of position, I'm having to try crazy things or just punch out. And then I'm kind of getting pulley with my irons. So I think I'm coming out over the top. And, I don't know. It's bad. I need to just go spend an hour and a half at the range for like 3 days in a row. It's going to be 90 degrees, like 95 degrees out here with a bunch of humidity. So, yeah. And then I come back from playing golf the other day, and I look out my window, and my neighbor's in his backyard redoing a little fish pond he has with a fucking excavator. I had to go out and be like, what in the fuck? He's like, yeah, just had to dry it. I knew a guy, he told me. So that was absolutely incredible. Another incredible thing. Chuck Schumer, and he obviously didn't post this, but he had to post for this picture. Talked about how his family's always lived in an apartment building. I think he lives in New York City, so it makes sense. And that his daughter had bought a house with a backyard, and they're having a barbecue with hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill for Father's Day. And it really is. It's a nice sentiment. I feel bad picking on this guy, but it's like these people aren't real people. My guy has some hot dogs over there, cooked up nicely. But then you'll see those burgers are raw with no seasoning on them at all. And he has one raw burger with cheese on. My man doesn't know what he's doing on the grill. I mean, I guess it makes sense. He's never done this before. And for the first time, we're having a barbecue with hot dogs and hamburgers. First time. You got some things to learn. Oh, I saw this was this kind of transitions us over to the basketball world. I don't even know when this game was from. I just saw a screenshot. The most absurd box score in NBA history. The Houston Rockets, and this just must list their starters. So PJ Tucker, C. Capella, is that Clint Capella? Then Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and B. McLemore. Is that Ben McLemore? So James Harden in this goes for 50 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, on 4 of 20 shooting from 3, 11 of 37 shooting from the field. McLemore goes for 11 points with 1 rebound, 1.1 assist. Nothing crazy there. Capella goes for 22 points on 9 of 9 shooting with 21 rebounds, 2 assists, and then 4 fouls on there. PJ Tucker, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 points. And then Russell Westbrook goes 7 of 30 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3 with 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 19 points. Just wild. And now I'm going to do this is a last of the discussion point for this. I'm very over the Caitlin Clark stuff. She got fouled hard over the weekend by Angel Reese, and it was like the world was melting down. Again, on Twitter about it. It was a hard foul. Was it borderline dirty? Maybe. I don't know. Could have been. Was it anything to get up in arms about? I don't think so. I think there were some complaints that, her teammates maybe should have kind of mixed it up a little bit more in her defense. Okay. But I'm just, I'm done. I'm very done with all of this. And, there's all these reports out there, again, that now the WNBA is going to lose $50 million. Okay, I get it. I'm punting. I'm out. I've had my last. This is what we know, and this, isn't going to change. Caitlin Clark brings all the eyeballs. The other women in the WNBA don't like her. Everyone in the world is going to play up some sort of race angle from either side, and the WNBA still is going to lose money because outside of Caitlin Clark, they're still not drawing that much. There's no more to talk about, and I will not talk about it anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Sick of it. I'm out. Did I watch anything? Oh, I haven't watched House of the Dragon yet. House of the Dragon, I'm looking forward to getting back into that. So might have an update on the first or maybe second episode too for next week. So let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you to everyone. I appreciate those of you who watch, listen, who caught some of the live shows over the weekend for the U.S. Open. The Sunday live show obviously rolled into this, so I appreciate Jeff Slanovic and Deepdish for hopping on with us and doing that. I appreciate all you guys. If you could, you know the deal. Comment, subscribe, share, like, review, all that good stuff. Big thank you to producer Kevy, as always, for sending us down this path with the video and helping us out and helping me get to the point where I can do it now. Back next week. More baseball. There's another golf tournament this week that's actually important, the Travelers Championship. So I'll be following up on that. Hopefully, like I said, getting some House of the Dragon in, and who knows what else I'll get into. It's 1 billion degrees out here, so might have to find some good things to watch. So until next week, peace.